Hello and welcome to this week's Monkey Nut Bunch podcast, where I'm joined by Keith. Hello, Keith.
Hello, Keith. You fixed the videos.
Did I?
Well, that one worked better than it did last time.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll
That
see.
That one worked.
So
yes.
what have we got this week?
News? Not much.
We have 3 pieces of news, 2 trailers, retrospective on Interstellar, which I literally just watched, and Slow Horses.
Slow Horses. The Rings of Power is over. So can talk a little bit about that. Fucking Slow Horses. A surprise trailer. Because I didn't have any fucking idea that existed. So it kind of made me happy. And we will be talking about this, Biff. We will be talking about this. Not that I've seen it. So yeah. No, it's good.
Yeah. All right.
It's good. Let's do it.
It's good. So, shall we get into our first piece of news?
Yeah, go on then.
All right. Hang on a second. Maybe this one will be appropriate.
What? What the fuck?
Yeah.
So, I pulled up the wrong notes. Hang on a second. I pulled up the Rey movie notes. I need to scroll down and find the Batman notes. In a fascinating revelation, John Nolan, the co-writer of The Dark Knight, has shared how the video game Fallout 3 influenced his work on the final installment of Chris Nolan's Batman trilogy. He discusses how the game's post-apocalyptic themes shaped his thought on Gotham's downfall and how it would have been if Batman failed to save the city. The bleak, hopeless feel within Gotham is particularly in the latter half of the film and mirrors the desolate landscapes of Fallout and explores the concept of heroes' loss. All right. So, do you know one of the reasons that Westworld season 2 was a disaster?
Jonathan Nolan wasn't writing it, or
Jonathan Nolan was too busy playing Fallout 4.
Okay, that makes sense.
Well, that's what he says. That's a good excuse, I think, for in the kind of gamer community. That's something that kind of sticks out. So, it explains why there's a big nuclear bomb in it too. It's. I'm trying to think. I am trying to think of how exactly it influenced it. Apart from the whole downfall of the city, which you don't get to see in Fallout because you get to experience the post of the post-apocalyptic thing. Maybe the way that the citizens start behaving after, whenever it does fall down. But it's an odd one that he said that it's expired. I wish he'd go into a bit more detail on what and how it expired.
I put it in there because we were covering that film last week, and because there was no bloody news, and I thought it might be interesting for you to talk about because you've played Fallout 3.
Yeah,
so that's why I put it in there. Can you see any influences?
Fallout 3 had what's his mush? The guy from Taken, Liam Neeson. It had Liam Neeson in it.
Yeah, that's true.
It is weird because I'm thinking about it. And I'm like, I'm struggling here to think what caused it and why it would do that. I know that he kind of from a Fallout perspective, having that the down, everything falling to anarchy and disarray. I get. City wasn't in ruins as such. So yeah, it's an odd one, but I know that he's a massive Fallout fan. One of the reasons he did the Fallout series, he did a pretty good job with it in places. Some of the others.
That was Jonathan Nolan. I've forgotten that. Duh. Yeah, okay, my brain's... Yeah, all right, yeah, my geek grade's gone down there. Duh. Yeah. Now it's all. Yeah. Sorry. The
No,
cogs need a bit of grease.
cooks need a bit of grease. So,
I haven't had enough coffee.
no, I've got a cup here just to. I'd lend you it, but you're in another country, so it's a bit difficult. It'll be cold by the time it reaches you.
We drink cold coffee here.
Does it reach?
No, it doesn't
Does
work.
it reach? Doesn't reach.
No.
That's
Magic's not working.
that's a visual gag for the podcast listeners.
Wormhole. Interstellar. We're going to be talking about Interstellar. Wormhole.
We'll
No,
be
not
talking
working.
about Interstellar in a bit, but
Not enough antimatter.
it's I can't see it quite connecting, apart from the fact that he wanted to do the Fall of Gotham, which feels more like it's in line with the Dark Knight Returns than it does with Fallout. And everyone, when they go to Batman, they go to that because it's like the definitive Batman story is the Dark Knight Returns. Ironically, it's the end of Batman, but it's still interesting. It is strange. So yeah, I'm not seeing it. I'm Jonathan. Give me a call. I'll give you my number. I'm not seeing it. I'd like to know, but I know that he's a massive Fallout fan and he enjoys it all a lot. I imagine if I spoke to him and said, "Are you disappointed in Fallout 76?" I'd probably hear something along those lines. But yeah, I struggle to. I really struggle to see it because it's like, apart from it's a bit bleak. Well, yeah. So Dark Knight Returns. Are there any other? It's like kind of. I'm seeing other video game influences in things. So, for example, Alien Romulus, there's a bit where she has a fight in zero gravity killing the aliens, yeah? She has to fly through, which feels very Dead Space. Yeah? And ironically, Dead Space is influenced by Alien and System Shock.
But he said that Alien Romulus was inspired by Alien Isolation, the game.
Yeah.
Which is a fucking epic game.
It is.
So... yeah, I mean, this, Alien Isolation when video games were good.
Yeah. Do you want to hear something funny about Alien Isolation? They are still talking about the AI that runs the Alien now. I watched a video made like last month where they were talking about how sophisticated, how clever the AI is. Yeah, because the AI has it has 3 ways of seeing you. Yeah, it has this really close by peripheral view. Yeah. It has like kind of a mid-sight, so it can see you if you're in the room, and it has far sight, so it could see you in a distance, but you've got time enough to disappear somewhere, and then it doesn't because it's clever like that. And then how it disappears up into the ceiling and follows you around from the ceiling, but it's invisible, so it doesn't clip through so its tail doesn't clip through the thing. And they were taking like FPF first-person views of it, and you could see it moving around, and that's clever, and it's one of those games. And it's Red Dead Redemption 2 would make a great film. It really would. It would make a great TV series. It would be up there with Deadwood and all the other westerns.
I've never played it, and I was.
You never played it? It is.
I think I have got it in the library. I'm tempted to play it because I'm feeling like I want to play a video game, and there ain't anything decent at the moment.
There's plenty of old decent stuff. Yes. The best decent thing at the moment is Space Marine 2. I finished playing the campaign with my friend because I played it all the co-op all the way through, and then I started playing the what do you call it, the dual missions, and then we're going to go on to the competitive bits when we get through the dual missions. I got halfway through them last night. Fantastic game. Swarm mechanics are fantastic.
I mean, when I first heard about Outlaws, I was partly interested, but that's massively flopped. When I first heard about Assassin's Creed, before they made the announcement, that's flopped before it's even out the gate. I mean, way to go, pissing off an entire country and then cancelling on the Tokyo Game Show like the fucking week before. Yeah.
There's rumours that Ubisoft are going to get bought by someone. I just love the fact that they inserted this black guy from history that didn't have a history, and they're annoyed because the person who provided the so-called historical documents faked it all. And he lied, and that pissed the Japanese government off no end, that they were rewriting their history.
I mean, I won't say where or who they were. I'll tell you offline, but I can't say it publicly. But I have a student that's, works quite high up in the Japanese gaming thing, right? They were at Tokyo Game Show last week, and apparently there were just so many people there, like, really wanting Ubisoft to turn up so they could have a go. And I think that's the reason why. They are not fucking happy.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them. How do you create a samurai game? I mean, you can't make this shit up. It's so stupid. I mean, you create a game in feudal Japan, and you cast an African American or black character in the role of the lead samurai, and then act surprised when the entire fucking country of Japan gets pissed at you.
Yeah. Just think, Sony wouldn't be stupid enough to do, say, something similar by, gender swapping the main character of their very successful samurai/ninja game, Ghost of Tsushima.
No, wouldn't dream of doing that.
They wouldn't be that stupid. No one could be that stupid. Or maybe they are. So, I think we should move on to our next story. Let's have one of these.
Now, we are.
Joker Folie deux, the much anticipated sequel to the 2019 Joker film, has landed with a disappointing result for both critically acclaimed and at the box office. Despite high expectations for the film, it's only earned $20 million on its opening day, falling far short of its predecessor at $96.2 million. Furthermore, it became the first comic book movie to receive a D cinema score from audiences and critics, and hasn't been kind, with the current movie holding a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes. Well, it's really simple, yeah? They wanted a sequel to the Joker, which didn't need a sequel, and, well, they made it a musical. That's it. That's the biggest thing that put me off. As soon as I went, oh, it looks like a musical, that's it, I'm out. I'm done. No, I ain't touch it. I'm not a musical fan. Sci-fi's not known for liking musicals.
I'm somewhat shocked how bad this is turning out to be. Bearing in mind, the first one being what it was, how the second one has turned out and how it is flopped so badly. I mean, it's not only been panned by critics, it's been panned by the fans. It's one of those rare occasions when fans and critics agree. And it just shows how disconnected Hollywood is that they thought that this would work.
See, part of me, right, so when they put the first Joker out, yeah, Todd Phillips, because he was given such a small budget from the studios, it was like 30 million or something along those lines, was allowed to share in the profits. It went off to make $1 billion. So the studios were like, well, we're definitely getting a sequel now because we want some of that money that we should have had for that billion, because we had no faith in it and clearly we were wrong, and we want money, give me money. So part of me thinks, given Todd Phillips, I think this might have just been a fuck you to the studio. Yeah, I think this is like kind of no, fuck you. You want a success? No, I'm going to give you a howler. So because I don't share in whether this film is good or bad, you're going to have to share in the fact that it's bad and suck up those losses. That's what I kind of think, because given the fact that he's turned around and said things like, Hollywood, you're not allowed to make comedies anymore. And he would never be able to make the Joker film just on its own without using a DC kind of license. Part of me thinks this is like Matrix 4, where it's a fuck you to the studios. Because Matrix 4 is a fuck you to the studios. You watch that film and you go, this is a fuck you, yeah, it makes 100% sense. when you put it in that frame.
It does, but then Matrix 5 has gone into production.
Oh my fucking word! Why? Oh, tell me they're not right. The Wachowskis have got nothing to do with it, have they? Of course they've not, because they said fuck you.
Executive producers, which means they got fuck all to do with it.
Yeah, it just means they sign a few capexes. So it's I had no hope for this. If Todd Phillips was clever, he would have done like a Riddler origin story, and he would have done well, they're doing a Penguin origin story at the moment on HBO. Penguin origin story, and Mr. Freeze origin story, and he could have gone through all the villains and told stories as it goes along. So yeah,
I mean, I agree with what Laurie's saying in the comments. I mean, the trailer didn't do it any favors, but I mean, in fairness to you, you've been pretty consistent with this since we talked about when we found out there was going to be a sequel, that you were sort of skeptical about it. And I remember you being skeptical about it. I was like, well, it was a really good film. Maybe they could do something with it. And they completely fluffed it.
I don't think they wanted to do anything decent with it. It doesn't make any sense. They shouldn't have. That's a film. One of those few films that shouldn't be a sequel to. Yeah. There are elements of like Taxi Driver in there, and The Fisher King, and things like that from elements from other films, and you can see clearly where he's borrowed these things from. And it didn't need to. I'll be honest with you. It didn't need to be a Joker movie. Yeah. The only way, because the other thing too is when he killed Robert De Niro, he missed the opportunity to do what the Joker did in The Dark Knight with Dave Endicott on Dave Endicott show. You remember that? Where he gets like kind of, he pulls out the mug and he's like kind of, can I keep this? He goes, yeah, we've got loads in the cupboard, okay. And then he smashes it, kills his therapist, yeah, and then puts the mug down on the table. Well, as long as you won't miss the mug, which is funny in a really dark sense. Which kind of befits a character. That would have worked. I think that would have worked in that film. And that's one thing they should have fucking lifted. But when he comes down, he wasn't the Joker. Yeah, the Joker shouldn't have an origin. I always describe the Joker as being this madness that lurks in Gotham that just infects some poor fucker from time to time who's had a bad day.
I agree with you. Part of the allure of the Joker is you don't know his origin. And, you know, they play upon that. One of the things I like about The Dark Knight is they play upon that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
And, yeah, no, it shouldn't have had an origin. But this, I mean, the film is quite good. As a standalone piece, the original Joker film is quite good. But you're right. I agree with you. But I am surprised about how bad this is coming across. Put it. I just read Piffer's comment. But I am surprised. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised, but I am surprised about how bad it's doing. Yeah.
As I said, didn't need a sequel. He could have been clever. He could have done a sequel to another villain and done that, or just asked to do another film and then done that. Because I think I've heard spoilers, and I don't think anyone's. If you don't want to hear spoilers, don't do it. Joaquin Phoenix's character Arthur gets killed by the proper Joker in it at the end, and what do you call it? It's Lady Gaga isn't Harley Quinn either, and they quite allude to that. So yeah, it's just cast William fucking Dafoe. Do it.
Yeah.
He looks like the fucking Joker. He just has to paint his face white and put some lipstick on him. He's done.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things, again, I love about No Way Home is... I mean, it's why it's such a damn perfect movie. Him as the Goblin, and you see him as the Goblin with the facial features, works.
Yes.
A treat. God, I'm glad I was right about that.
Everyone was right about that. The problem with that was
vindicated by that film.
He only worked in the Goblin costume and you could see his mouth, because you could see his mouth moving. Otherwise, it felt like a episode of Power Rangers. Yeah, as soon as you could see his mouth and you could see some of his features, it worked. But yeah,
Yep.
Let's go on to our next one.
Hans,
So, Hans works. Oh no.
Oh, I was doing those impressions the other day. Hello.
Yes. Hello. In a recent turn of events, speculation has grown regarding the much anticipated Star Wars film focusing on Rey, a character played by Daisy Ridley, with Steve Knight, the film's writer, announcing his plans to open a new Los Angeles studio and diving deeper onto his work on Peaky Blinders movie. I misread that. Anyway, fans starting to question whether we're going to get a bloody Rey film or not, because the film could face delays, possible things, and given the fact that Steve has said, hey, you know what, I'm working on a Peaky Blinders movie, I'm setting a studio up in Los Angeles, will he have time to work on it? That's the question. Plus, at the same time, too, they have a horrible habit of announcing these things and not following through on them. So, Rogue Squadron, Dan and Dave's trilogy, Taika Waititi's Star Wars film, Rian Johnson's trilogy, what other ones have we got?
Kevin Feige's Star Wars.
Kevin Feige's film. Yeah, and yeah. So yeah,
I think Disney is very much beginning to realise currently that Star Wars is fucked, and no matter what they do, they have fucked it, and I don't know how they can repair it. And I think they're beginning to realise it. The Acolyte was shocking. I didn't put it in here.
Yeah.
But apparently now this week the Acolyte's budget rose to $300 million.
Was it because it was £288?
No, it's. I think we'll never know the true budget because I think they just screwed it. I mean that's higher budget than the bloody Mandalorian. And the Mandalorian, whilst it was good, 30-minute episodes didn't work. Andor Season 2 does look interesting, and I think Andor Season 2 will actually perform quite well. Because by word of mouth, people have actually watched Andor, enjoyed it. But there's going to be people that are not going to watch it because they're done with Star Wars. And I understand that. Disney have fucked it. There is not going to be a Rey film. The minute that silly bitch of the director who they cast, right? They didn't get her for her skill. Cast opened her mouth out, and those clips of her came out. That movie was done. And you know, they thought they might get away with it if the Acolyte had done well, and I think it was cancelled before the Acolyte, or it was put on delay before the Acolyte. They were hoping the Acolyte would perform well, and kind of because their heads were so far up their own arses, they don't realise that they've got a turkey on their hand.
Biffa said, Obey Chin Hoi. Yes, that was her name. It wasn't. That's not her name, but that's the way to remember her name because that's what it fucking sounds like. It's funny. I
think they were hoping the Acolyte would perform well, then they could make this movie. Well, we all know how that went.
I find it. I find it funny. It's weird because the director they've got isn't a director. She's a documentarian, and she's actually done some good work. Yeah. And one of the comments that she said was in relation to her work about making men feel awkward, and that was because she was investigating when, I think it was in India or Pakistan, when you have child brides, and it shouldn't be a thing, and they need to feel awkward over it. And that is something that I think is, that's fair. But she's not qualified to do a Star Wars film. If you wanted to get someone to do a Star Wars film, the most qualified person on the planet to do a film of any sorts is Chris Nolan. Yeah, to do a film. And we'll get to Chris.
But he's not. He would never do a Star Wars film.
No, not under Disney. He'd have to do it completely independently from Disney, and it would just have to be
there
Disney.
There are plenty of directors out there that could have done a job. Star Wars at the moment is screwed, and I do not see any way out. They're meant to be making an Ahsoka movie. There's a Mandalorian movie. There is very little information about that at the moment. Season 3 of The Mandalorian really annoyed a lot of people. So people are just not interested. Ahsoka didn't do that well. It was terrible. It was terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it was terrible. I mean, so I don't know. I don't know. Having said all of that, I mean, I think they have cancelled it. I think they fired a lot of people at Lucasfilm. I think they've been very, very quiet about that. But until you get rid of the boss, it ain't going to change. Because at the end of the day, the responsibility, the buck, stops with the boss. And she is overseeing the downfall of one of the largest franchises of all time. And the decisions that she made have led to this.
I know to get rid of her. Do you want me to tell you to get rid of her?
Go on.
You promote her and put her in charge of something that's not relevant and somewhere where she can't do any damage. I think the Japanese do something similar. But can it be fixed? Yes, it can. Can it be fixed in the next 2 years? No, it can't. It needs to be absolutely quiet for 2 years straight. Nothing at all from it. They should celebrate the older films. Yeah, they should celebrate the older films, make big hoo-has of all the release dates and stuff like that. But I think it needs to just be put on hold for a while while they sort their shit out. And the first thing they need to do is they need to come up with a new set of Star Wars films based on something that people love, yeah, from qualified writers, from people who have experience writing in science fiction and like Star Wars. And the other thing too is I've been sending you videos, I would hire Sam Witwer as brand ambassador. Because that guy fucking loves Star Wars.
You could look at the games, but again, I don't think they would capture everybody's imagination. And the thing was with Star Wars was it had cross appeal. Star Wars was this science fiction, and it had a lot of nerdy fans, right? I mean, I remember 20 years ago my lecturer saying the internet was created for porn and Star Wars fans. But Star Wars fans alone didn't make $1 billion movie. It's because like my sister and her husband would go and see it. It had cross appeal, right? And they've switched off the Star Wars fandom for the large part. They've said, they constantly insult the fucking Star Wars fandom. What's her face? The girl that plays Rey is the latest one to insult them.
What she said?
Do not. Oh, she's the usual one. Toxic men, that kind of thing.
Really? Because usually I'll be honest with you, throughout the trilogy that she did, she's managed she like most of them managed to keep the gob shut.
Well, according to, I saw a Nerd Erotic and Critical Drinker video on it this week where she said something in an interview. It's the usual tripe. It's the usual tripe. Insult the fans. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are dickheads in the Star Wars fans. There are dickheads in every fucking fan group going. There are dickheads in the Star Trek fan group. There are dickheads in every single sodding fan group. But when you say these generic terms for a minority, when you shed light on a minority, all it does, is just make matters worse. It's just fucking ridiculous. But yes. I at the moment do not see how they can bring it back. I don't think it will ever be as popular. I think Andor season 2 might do something for some of us. If it's up to the same quality as season 1. But I don't see that's not gonna resurrect the mass cross appeal of Star Wars. It's lost the normies. The Acolyte didn't work because no one watched it because it was badly written, badly acted, and then you got some silly lead actress releasing a fucking diss track halfway through, and no one at Disney went, "That was fucking stupid."
Do you know the worst thing about the diss track is it wasn't even very good. It wasn't an Eminem level diss track. If it was, then we probably would have gone, you know what? She might have a point, but she couldn't even do that. She can't act, and she couldn't fucking do that either.
She's a spoiled little rich cow that's never suffered from, anything in her life. Bangs on about the impression of her people. What? The Danish? Right? Bangs on about the impression of her people, which she's not a member of. Right? I mean, this. And then she dresses like a woman, acts like a woman, is incredibly effeminate, but wants to be called they because it makes her feel special. Fuck off. You need to see one of those doctors.
I'm going to be honest with you. I blame Ralph Fiennes for this. We all know that it's Ralph Fiennes, but he wanted to be called Ralph Fiennes. And ever since then, people were just... Joaquin Phoenix is another one. Stupid names, just insist that they call it. Yeah. Now, they, them is an extension of that. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Willem Dafoe, actually, there's an example. I saw this great clip of Willem Dafoe in an acting class where he says his name the way that everyone sees his name. And I can't remember, Defoe or something like that. And he says it the way that everyone says it. And then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, changed my mind. So let's blame Ralph Fiennes for that. But he did play Lord Voldemort. So there is a chance that he's secretly evil. And on that note, I think...
Oh, there was another piece of news and I forgot to put it in. Warner Brothers and HBO Max released the new Harry Potter logo this week. So acting like, oh, this is new. It does look tiny bit different, but not that you would look at... I have to find it at some point. I suddenly remembered, you suddenly reminded me of that. And I saw that this week, or at least I think I saw it. I don't know if it's real, but I think it was real. I think it's real.
I'll just have a quick nose.
It was grey, like sort of grey mechanical looking thing on a black background, if I remember rightly.
I can't see anything in the news.
Okay.
I can see Jared Harris' story from last week, but covered by another organisation.
Yeah, not that one. It might have been.
Yeah. So IndieWire covered it, but they're not a good source. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the comments, and we've got some trailers to look at. One of them absolutely fucking surprised me, and I'm really happy. I'm really happy that this trailer's out, and we'll get to it. So I think I'll start the music up. Is that loud enough? It's loud enough. So, my chat's not working. Come back. There it is. So first things first, Biffa doesn't say hello. He says, I survived the Joker Part 2. Why? It looked like a musical. I knew it was going to be... No. It's terrible. Okay, cool. So the video's working this week, which is fantastic. Keith's plugging his K-spot. That's not a euphemism for arsehole.
I can't reply on the chat on here, so I have to go and do it on the other apps. That's why.
Mrs. is complaining I'm not loud enough today. She complains when I'm quiet. She complains when I'm loud. I can't win.
No, this is a woman thing, right? Right, my wife, right, goes and orders a load of food, right? Can't eat it all. Puts it on my plate, tells me to eat it, then complains I've eaten too much. Women!
Can't win. Really can't win. Hi, Chuck. Yeah, Disney is that stupid. Yeah. Hello, everyone. And Gareth really doesn't like musicals. No. I'm trying to think of musicals that I like. War of the Worlds, and
yeah,
and
like
War of the Worlds.
I like the Audible extended version of that, where there's more narration. It's good. The Audible version.
Okay.
If you've never heard of it.
We could have got Arkham Asylum as the joke. That's a fucking good call. That's a bloody good call. That would have been great. Depends which route you go down. If you go down the comic book route, or if you go down the game route. I think both of them work. But what you could have done is you could have done it really clever, and you could have just seen it entirely from the Joker's perspective. And there's this thing fucking hunting people down. And it turns out to be Batman. That would have been a great thing. Act 3, Batman actually fucking turns up. That would have had everyone there too. Laurie says hi to us. Wave at Laurie. Say hello. Hello. Hi.
Hello. How?
Hello. Hi. It's like hello and hi at the same time. I wouldn't go and watch a Joker movie. Not my thing. Saw the trailer before watching. It looked. Yeah. No, it did. It's the musical aspect that got me. Put a chick in it. Make it lame and gay. Yeah. That's Disney's solution, and South Park nailed that. Over 1 billion Star Wars movies scrapped on my hometown McDonald's restaurant sign. I believe that. And that's how you pronounce the name, Keith, the director of the Rey movie. Obey Chinoi.
Obey the chin, boy.
I don't think she. Listen to her talk. I don't think she's bright enough to sucker them in. I think Disney's stupid enough to do it. Daisy Ridley's got brain aids. I haven't seen whatever it is, and as I said, when you looked at all the cast of Force Awakens all the way through to The Rise of Skywalker, most of them kept their traps shut.
The thing is, right, I mean, Daisy Ridley, she was not that great in those movies, and she had weird facial expressions in some of those movies that you just wonder how they got through the editor's room. But I saw her in that film about this swimming thing, and she was genuinely quite good in that. So she can fucking act. She can act.
Yeah.
She can. But she should have kept her mouth shut. But go on, sorry.
Yeah. So Tanith kind of agrees with me. Personally, I think Star Wars has been done to death. There are so many different things, TV shows, games, etc. I know it has a huge fan base, but sometimes overdoing it lessens the magic. It's like with a creature feature where you see the creature a bit too much. Having a Star Wars film every 3 years and making it a big event, I think is more. And now I'm going to do the dick nerd thing and turn around and say Quentin Tarantino wanted to do a Star Trek film. But no. Could he do it? Given his knowledge of Kurosawa films, yeah, I think he could probably do one.
I think Hang on a second. I think the only way Star Wars is going to come back is if they do something different. And that's why I quite like Andor, because it was different.
Okay. Hi, Steve.
I really wasn't. I was replying to a comment Biffix said, and the only way I can reply is by my own YouTube. Because melon. Not plugging. Don't need to plug. I will plug something at the end, but not my thing. Although you're going to have to go to my thing to get the details, but I'll plug it at the end. I don't want to get upset now.
I'd just like to point out, when you talk about the K-spot, it does sound like you're talking about anal sex. So when someone says plug the K-spot...
Right, what trailer are we going to do first? I think before we do...
I'm going to...
Can we do the surprise one second? Let's do the first one, because it's kind of...
Oh, Keith, you've seen that I've lined it up. You've seen...
No, I haven't, because the microphone's kind of in the way. But go on then, we'll do it this way then.
The microphone's in the way.
Well, it kind of is, because the screen's there, right? And this bloody microphone is in the way. I can only just see your lovely face with your red cap.
Me with my lovely red cap. All right. Fucking Hinky Punk next. Right. Okay. Let's do this one. This is like 2 weeks old, but I think we need to talk about it.
I click leave on porch. Your subordinates will be reported to DoorDash HQ.
Alexi, it's me. Open up.
Milena? Hold on! Elena!
Hi, Dad.
Sorry about the wait. Was on an important call. Highly classified. Lot of work. Many irons in fire.
You feel fulfilled?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so full. So filled. But why do you ask this? What brings you here?
Question 1, before we go any further. Who asked for this?
No one. But.
Okay.
But. Carry on watching it.
There is something wrong with me. An emptiness. I'm just drifting. And I don't have purpose. I thought throwing myself into work was the answer.
With your feet on the air, your head on the ground.
You know how I feel about Taskmaster, don't you?
That's not Taskmaster, is it?
Are you sure?
Yeah, no, Taskmaster said. I think
That's
that's
Ghost.
yeah.
Taskmaster. That's Taskmaster.
No, Taskmaster's dead. I think that's also Ghost.
Oh no.
Who are you?
I'm Bob.
Who sent you, Bob?
Nobody. You were all sent?
Everyone here has done bad things.
She had an arrow. That's Hawkeye.
Robbing
Bird.
government.
Who?
Taskmaster. I think it's the Hawkeye woman. What's her face?
No, it's not. It had the shield. It had the shield and Taskmaster's thing, and you know how
I don't.
he's
I don't
pissed.
think hang on, I'll Google that. Why? Carry on watching it.
Labs. Contract kills.
Yeah, so?
So, someone wants us gone. What the hell?
We're brought up with this belief that there are good guys and there are bad guys.
What's the plan?
I see what they're doing. It's obvious what they're doing.
This could get messy.
But eventually, you come to realize that there are bad guys and there are worse guys and nothing else. Look at you. So adorable.
Don't worry, she's bulletproof. What happened to bulletproof? It's bulletproof-ish.
Is that Bucky?
That's not good.
So I knew I was going to react like this.
It's not that bad a trailer.
No! How is that uninspired nonsense not bad a trailer? Please tell me.
I've watched a lot of people's reactions, and a lot of people sort of agree with me. I actually kind
Then
of.
you've been watching the
felt a
wrong
bit like-
people.
Gary liked it. I think it looks like an old school, or the trailer looks like an old school Marvel movie. It had that feel. There was none of the surprise whamming bullshit in there. It had the character. Well, it wasn't. We know her. She has She has a. I love this.
No.
Brilliant.
No.
I like the trailer.
No.
I like the trailer.
No. All right. How many women are in it? How many men are in it?
But equal.
Equal.
Okay.
Equal.
So that was Taskmaster. And now that you've said that, it has slightly lessened my opinion of it, because I did.
They
like
could have
Taskmaster.
put, and they could have had a male fucking bad guy in there too, and he could have been an arsehole, and they would have loved it. Yeah, they could have had Anthony Masters in it, but they didn't. And we know it's going to end with Red Hulk as the bad guy.
No, because aren't they lining up Red Hulk for although Harrison Ford, but Harrison Ford's in the Captain America one, and it's Red Hulk is Harrison Ford, who's taken over the role of Thunderbolt. But he's not in this, so I wonder if it's Lady Hyde. I mean, interestingly, she's in the Stark building.
Is she?
That's the
Avengers Tower, you
2
mean?
set. Yeah, the old Avengers Tower set. At least that's what it looks like. I don't know. I saw this trailer, and at first I quite like her. What's her face? And she was one of the more okay things. She was all right in Hawkeye when she was briefly in Hawkeye. Okay, the English bird playing the weird
Ghost.
from Ghost. She's all right, but she wasn't anything special in Ant-Man. Now that it's Taskmaster, yeah, okay, I'll give you that. But I don't know. It didn't feel like anything Marvel's previously put out for a while. It felt a bit more like a Marvel movie.
It felt like they were ripping off Suicide Squad, James Gunn's Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad. It really did.
And if it's as good as that, I'll be happy. I mean, yes, you could argue that. It might be shit, but it didn't... I've watched, like, trailers from Marvel for the last God knows how many movies and just gone, I don't want to see that, it looks shit. God, it's going to be woke, it's going to be awful. And they were, right? I saw that and went... That kind of had Captain America vibes. It kind of had... when she's kicking ass, you expect her to kick ass because, she's that character that's already been established. And, she kind of earned that. I mean, she wasn't immediately awesome. She earned that part. I mean, again, if you watch Black Widow movie, which was not good, but at least she kind of earned it. She wasn't just immediately awesome. I don't know. She's quite a charismatic actress. So, and I do kind of like the Russian accent. I thought it was quite funny. Look, I like the trailer. The trailer made me want to see the movie. That's what a trailer's meant to do, and it worked.
I'm like, what was it? I can't even remember the name of the tune because they always do that slow play pop or slow play original thing. Yeah. Witty quip, explosion. Witty quip, explosion, or fight. That's the standard fare for the adverts. Did I see anything new in there?
No,
he's got Bucky's got the device that slides under the car, explodes. Okay, seen that before. Blind side of a building walking away. Seen that before. The best one I've seen of destroying a building walking away is actually from Fringe.
But it felt like a Marvel movie from the Captain America era when Marvel movies were good. Was there anything new in there? No. But we want something old because the something new from Marvel's been shit, right? And this kind of... Look, it could just be pure member berries and the film was shit, right? And I am quite prepared to admit that it's probably member berries, right? And they're probably deliberately deceiving us, right? I'm willing to admit that. But that trailer... as a trailer, worked. Right? It felt like an old school Marvel movie. You are probably right. All right? And I am probably got wishful thinking. And I'm quite prepared to work that. But if you objectively look at that trailer, that was not a bad trailer. And it felt like an old school Marvel movie. It felt like an MCU movie of 10 years ago. Right?
Okay, all right. So... okay, please explain to me, without referencing the Thunderbolts, just entirely from that trailer, what's the film about?
Well, it does feel a bit like Suicide Squad.
No. Because even I said it felt like Suicide Squad. Didn't come across as Suicide Squad. What's that film about?
I have a sneaking suspicion that...
No. From the trailer, not from suspicion. What's the film about from that trailer?
Getting like a load of sort of on the fringe heroes or anti-heroes together to go off on a dangerous mission for Madam Hydra.
That's what you got from that trailer.
Yes.
Because that's what was not in the trailer.
That
You know what was in the trailer?
What was in the trailer?
What was in the trailer? Some bad guys doing some things. Maybe they're working for someone. It was terrible. It told me nothing. It didn't sell me on anything.
And when does a trailer ever tell you anything about the actual film? Interstellar trailer told us fuck all about that film, right? And we all wanted to see it, right? What I'm saying is, I don't know. It just felt different. It felt different. It felt like a pre-fucking... I don't know why. And maybe it's wishful thinking. But I saw it the other day and went, I don't know if it's the actors in it. That probably has something to do with it. But it worked. Film probably going to be shit. But I'm going to go and see it. I actually genuinely might go and see it. What I might do is wait a couple of days and then listen to people and they go, oh, it's so bad, it's terrible, I won't bother. But if the reactions are, I don't know. I just don't know. Is the actress from the last MI... No. No.
No, she wasn't.
I don't know.
If they wanted to go balls to the wall, they should have made a really violent one and included John Bernthal as the Punisher. And you could have pulled that one off. Maybe lessen the blood a bit. Okay, all right. I get why you're more likely to watch that one.
You've got to look at it objectively, and you're right. It doesn't tell you a lot about the movie, but I watched it in my peripheral vision, and then I watched it again, and I went, I knew you weren't going to like it, because I just knew you weren't. Because you're going to have the opposite opinion of me, because you like to. I don't like something you
Slightly
like. Slightly
contrarian.
But I saw that trailer, and I thought, well, that feels like an MCU movie. Hang on, that actually does feel like an MCU movie. Does it feel like
How
the best
does it feel
MCU
like an
movie?
MCU movie?
Well, there's member berries there for starters.
Right, hold on.
There are some
Hold on.
member berries there.
Let's get the trailer
Bucky's
to
in
Captain
it.
America.
Bucky's
let's
in
get
it,
the
right?
hang on, let's get the trailer to Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Yeah, and we'll compare. Yeah.
It doesn't. Captain America: Winter Soldier tells you fuck all about the movie.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
As long as I don't get the Hindi one.
You had no
10
idea
years
that
ago.
Hydra. The one thing in Winter Soldier that happens, Hydra. You get none of that shit in the trailer.
That's supposed to be a surprise. You're not supposed to give that
Yes.
bit away. All right,
What did it tell you? He's going after Bucky. What does this movie tell you? They're getting a load of anti-heroes from the Marvel
To
Studios
do
together
what?
To go off on a mission. That's obvious when she meets up in the Avengers Tower. Dude.
Coming up on the drop zone, Cap.
You do anything fun Saturday night?
Well, all the guys in my barbershop quartet are dead, so no, not really.
You know, if you ask Kristen out from statistics, she'd probably say yes.
That's why I don't ask.
I will agree with you.
Scared.
But stop it.
Too busy. Was he wearing a parachute?
No. No, he wasn't.
That tells you nothing about the film. That's the
Hang
first 5
on, he
minutes of the
hasn't
film.
finished yet. It's told you he's old and out of time.
Captain.
To build a better world?
Sometimes means tearing the old one down.
That tells you a
That
lot.
makes enemies.
And that tells you...
Not to normies.
Are you ready?
For the world to see you as you really are.
Hang on, we need to build a new world and tear the other one down. Everyone understands that.
You look out the window. You know how the game works. Disorder, war. All it takes is one step.
We're gonna neutralize a lot of threats before they even happen.
Thought the punishment usually came after the crime.
S.H.I.E.L.D. takes the world as it is, not as we'd like it to be.
This isn't freedom. This is fear.
You need to keep both eyes open.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
I don't remember this in the
Your work
okay.
has been a gift to mankind.
I remember that.
You've shaped the century. And I need you to do it one more time.
Oh, that looks familiar. I wonder where they got that from. Even the car going up.
But I just said to you, it does feel a bit like this.
Gear up. It's time.
Point made.
I told you it felt like that film. So,
it didn't feel like it. It felt disconnected and weird.
No, I don't agree. I think that trailer did more than you think it did, and I think people are going to go and see it. I do. What will happen? It depends on what will happen next. They'll release another trailer because it was only a teaser, and we'll see what the main trailer's like.
How much money have they spent on refilming, Keith?
I don't know.
The same budget they spent filming it. They've redone the entire film.
Well,
That's instant disaster territory.
They fired everybody. So maybe they've gone right. We need. Maybe they've realised that they're making shit films, and they've gone right. You know, these people are in charge of this. It's shit. Let's remake the film again. Look. I am not saying it's going to be good. I am not. It's probably going to be shit. I genuinely have not paid any fucking attention to Marvel, really, other than partially when they announced what's his face and then I really haven't paid attention again because I
think that was I think that was a terrible trailer in comparison, even though technically it's a tease. It's a tease trailer, but
it's gone down better than you think. And that's what I find interesting. A lot of people have gone, well, it feels like an MCU movie, which it kind of does.
With budget superheroes.
Yeah. I'm not saying
it's
good.
Tesco's value Marvel superhero. Tesco's value Avengers.
I'd be surprised if it does brilliantly at the cinema. I'd be surprised at that. I think, put it this way, I thought that was a better trailer than the Captain America one, Brave New World, even with Harrison Ford in it. Because I felt that film's just going to lecture us again. Whereas this has just got Bucky in it. It's got, you know, sort of dodgy Captain America.
Budget Captain America.
Budget Captain America, yeah.
Budget Black Widow.
Budget Black Widow.
Off-brand Ghost.
Off-brand Ghost, yeah.
Off-brand Ghost,
Gareth. I don't know. I'm just saying that the trailer did at least emulate something of the old MCU gone by, not like a lot of the other crap we've had recently. But look, it's probably going to be shit. So let's move on to something that's actually going to be good.
It has an asterisk next to it, and I think Red Hulk is the asterisk part of it.
You could be we know that Harrison Ford has taken over, so and he's in Captain America: Brave New World as the president, and we know he's the Red Hulk.
I would have picked a younger actor, I'll be frank with you. I really would have. But I think maybe they were like kind of, well, we owe him some money because we promised him some profit sharing off of Indiana Jones and a Dial of Destiny, and it made no money. Yeah. That's what I think.
And it's been taken off Disney Plus.
What has?
I believe Indiana Jones has been. All of them.
All of them. Ah, did I tell you? I'm sure I told you the horrible thing about Final Space last week, didn't I?
Final Space.
Final Space. It's like a Rick and Morty style animation on Netflix.
Yes. Yeah.
We
watched it. Why? What's happened?
Oh, did you not hear about it? It's been vaulted for tax reasons, so you can never watch it ever again.
Oh, it was really good. Final Space.
It was. I really enjoyed it.
I watched all of it. Why have they vaulted it?
Tax reasons. So it'll never be streamed again, never be produced or anything. The guy who wrote it, and I watched the documentary, the guy who wrote it, it's fucking horrible. It really is. It's not like it was being cancelled is one thing. Never being able to show your work to anyone ever again is something else. So at the moment, I think he's been scrounging around the internet for pirate copies of it. So he can have it. I think I might get some pirate copies of it too. I liked it. I thought it was good. He's done another one. He did a Kickstarter, and there's there's references to Final Space all over it, which is good. And I hope if you saw him, he was one of these very enthusiastic creators who never put anyone down or tell anyone not to go and watch it because it wasn't made for them, sort of thing. Come and watch it. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. I hope you liked it. That's all I can say. Now, can I watch something I'm interested in?
I sent you this.
I haven't watched this. I have not watched this. I was saving my reaction for this podcast. Okay? It better be fucking good. Next question.
Deja vu. Makes you feel like you've experienced all this before.
You told me the worst thing that ever happened to you. I stopped it.
Remember, Lucy, remember.
I remember everything.
Do you know how many times we've had this conversation? DI chambers.
Okay, so the first thing is it looks like it's another go round, if that makes any sense. So everything has changed this time. So you've got like a whole new universe or timeline or whatever.
That's how it ended. That's how the first season ended.
No, it ended that it was another bit there, and the reason that he did what he did was so he could shift across, and the reason by doing what he did created someone who shouldn't exist, and that's why the kid was scary and freaky. So he could move on. So yeah.
I can't stop it now, but you can.
What is going to happen?
You look at me and you see the devil incarnate. The real devil's out there. I want you to join me.
Okay, so it looks like he's using his ability to remember to help stop a serial killer, which is cool.
Everything changes. You don't know what happens next.
We can save them all.
Oh, I could even picture what the twist's gonna be like, yeah, because the twist will be they can't stop him, and then it goes the second time around because he knows everything. He can stop him like that.
Whatever he's done, we can get you help.
Cyndi Lauper, Chuck.
I need you on my side.
Time Cyndi Lauper. It's the slow pop track.
See,
and now I'm back in the room because I saw something I liked.
That. I had no idea they were doing a second season. I mean, you and I slightly disagree in the way it ended. I always felt that there was something more there. And, you know, I thought it just ended rather abruptly. Now I know why. Because they had planned another season. I'm kind of looking forward to this because now it's made me reevaluate the first season of this. Gone back and started watching it again, going, go. Okay, now there's going to get some answers to all of this. So now I'm watching it going, God, he's fucking good in this role. It's kind of like,
he is good.
It's kind of like, bizarro Doctor Who, isn't it?
Yes.
And I was like, actually, now I appreciate this more. Because there are moments in that season I liked. I didn't like the way it ended, and I thought that was it. And as a self-contained thing, it didn't work, right? But it was never meant to be self-contained. So when I saw that this week, I went, oh! And I sent that to you, and I started watching the first episode again and went, yeah, I think I'm going to like this now. So, yeah, I'm quite happy with this. I am quite happy with this. I did not cancel Prime because of it.
Mm.
And in the short term, I'm rewatching Reacher.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've had an annoying week, so watching Jack Reacher beat the shit out of things makes me feel better. So
yeah, I'm quite happy. That's put a smile on my face. I liked the first Devil's Hour. I thought it was good. I thought Peter Capaldi as borderline psychopathic worked. I like the fact that he's going around doing good things, and an example of that is where he's got all the dishwashers and the faulty ovens that he's just been dumping in the middle of nowhere, and they find him, and it doesn't make any sense to anyone why he's been doing it, because they're the ones that cause fires and kill people. And the fact that he had displaced the detective that kept on arresting him, which he couldn't get out of, and he kept on winding up in jail, and he said to her, goes, what's that one thing you want to change? And then she finally told him towards the end of his life on the last go round, and he went, right, okay, I know what to change. The question is, what did he change this time round? What's the differences that he's made? Okay, it may not be your cup of tea, but it definitely is mine.
No, it is mine now.
No, I'm talking to the listeners.
I didn't like the way it ended. That's the problem. But because I felt that it hadn't ended, that's my problem. It didn't end, right? And we had this argument at the beginning. It didn't end. And there was no news of a season 2. They've kept this fucking quiet. So I'm really pleased about this. It deserves a season 2, and I'm up for it. So thank you, Amazon, for once. Can't believe I'm saying that.
Thank you. Now make up for fucking Rings of Power. All right, do you want to hear something sad before you start talking about Rings of Power? I was in the bookshop, looking for books, as you do in a bookshop, and I heard a conversation in the background, and it went like this: "Hi there, do you have the books for Rings of Power?" To which the person behind the counter, I could hear them stifle their horror. There are no books for Rings of Power. It's based on the Silmarillion, or whatever it is, if I pronounce it right, from Lord of the Rings. And it's like, if you want, we can get you a copy of that. But there's no books for the actual Lord of the Rings TV series. I went, no, it's all just made up there and then. And you could hear the person. This is great because you could hear the sales assistant just turn around and goes, because they're their books and their products, going, just read Lord of the fucking Rings and The Hobbit, for fuck's sake. That's proper Lord of the Rings. You could hear it in the tone in their voice. It was one of the... I found it hilarious. I was just like, I was sitting there and I'm like, I won't tell you what I was looking at because it'll make me sound not so manly. But I was going through some books and I could just hear the conversation and I was grinning to myself really, really big.
I mean, if you want to see how bad the writing was in this, right? There's a scene between Sauron and Galadriel, and she basically goes, "I pity you," right? She goes, "You're trapped. You're the Lord of the Rings." At which point I just started banging my head against a brick wall. But here's the thing, guys. Here's the big twist at the end of season 2, right? Do you remember who the stranger was? Do you remember the stranger, the guy that was hanging around with the, not hobbits in season 1? The guy that
I'll be honest with you, Keith, look at me, right. Look at me.
Yeah.
To quote Catherine Tate, face not bothered. Yeah.
Right. So we said, like, fucking season 1, episode 2 of this guy, it's Gandalf, right? And everyone, no, right? It's like, it's fucking Gandalf. Guess what? The big reveal was at the end of season 2.
He's
They all
Sauron.
started calling
That's
him
Saruman.
Grand Elf. Now, bearing in mind that this is still second age of Middle Earth, and Gandalf doesn't actually appear along with the other 4 wizards until the fucking beginning of the Third Age, after the rings are being forged. Right? Oh dear God. Right? So basically, Sauron reveals himself, kills everybody. There's season 2 for you. And the Dark Wizard. They've got this Dark Wizard going around killing everybody, who they're heavily hinting is Saruman. Except Saruman was not a Dark Wizard.
No, he wasn't.
Saruman was the leader of the wizards right up until he wasn't, because he decided that he could not defeat Sauron because he was a bit of a coward, right? So he joined forces with him. That's it, right? The whole reason that Saruman turns bad is because he's a coward, and you see that at the end of the Third Age, right? But until the end of the Third Age, he was a good wizard, the head of the Wizard Order. He was not a dark wizard, and he certainly wasn't fucking killing people.
I would have made it so it's like Radagast or the other brown wizard. Who's the other one?
Well, it's not going to be Radagast, because Radagast was Radagast was perfectly cast in The Hobbit, although you don't really see him that much. There's more mention of him in the they bloated the role a bit, but they took it from lore that he had written. Radagast was an animal nutter. And he was perfectly played by Sylvester McCoy. The blue wizard.
But
they're hinting that this is Saruman, and it's not.
No. Back to Catherine Tate. Face bothered.
The thing is, like, they're saying, the first episode was seen by 55 million. Thing is, Amazon are saying bullshit, right? If they will get a third season, because, right? But seriously, they released the right? Seriously, the Balrog did not get released until the end of the, do you think they're all dead in Moria for over 1,000 years before Gimli goes, my cousin in Moria? Gimli's not 1,000 years old, right? Gimli's not 1,000 years old, right? No one knew about the fucking Balrog until most of the way through the Third Age. Again, Rings of Power is a load of bullshit. It does not support Tolkien, and you can't keep doing this, Hollywood, right? This is a pre-existing law that's been around and is older than most of your fucking parents. God, it made me angry. Anyway. Bleh. Rings of Power. So, yeah, fuck you, Amazon, for that. But thank you for bringing back the 0 hour. On to something better. I fucking loved episode 5 of Slow Horses. I fucking loved it. I was sitting there like a giddy little school kid going, this is awesome. And like, the fucking ending. Oh,
God, yes, the ending. It's, do you know what the really annoying thing is? I just... The big reveal is going to be that his dad is Hugo Weaving. I can't remember the character's name. That's going to be the big reveal, and his mum's going to turn up too and confirm that that's his father, because they set her up in this episode where she calls what's his name, the black fella, the one who sold the gun. Was it him or was it?
No, it was no, it wasn't.
Oh no, it was his partner. Sorry.
Yeah, more concerning, nice girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was, what do you call it? She turned around, just remind him that I exist. Which, it sounds like a fucking hint inside the story itself. It sounds like it's self-referential. Look, we haven't talked about his mother for a while. There's a reason that she's coming back. Please pay attention. It'll be important later. But I can't say that. And it's easier to say, just remind him that I exist. Works.
I mean, I am getting a bit annoyed by the bad guy that just seems to be, a fucking Terminator, right? But... the only thing I'll say is, right, if it had been What's-His-Face, the old leader of the dogs, right, he would have got out the fucking car, started shooting, then walked up to him and nutted him.
Right, so this is the thing is I think that What's-His-Face, who's the current head of the dogs, And he's going to wind up in Slough House. If the black guy gets it, she's going to wind up in Slough House.
Oh, she has to now because she bottled it, right? She bottled it in the car. I mean, she bottled it on several occasions, and she was shit. As I said, the old, if it had been what's-his face, right? He would have gone out the car, started shooting straight away, right? And then when the guy came up to him, he would have walked up to him and nutted him, right? He probably still ended up on the floor, right? But at least he would have put up a fight. She was like,
and as I said before in the previous ones, he always caught River, and then River escaped, which was embarrassing. Yeah. She struggled to catch River. Okay, she's caught him once, and guess what? He's escaped. So she can barely catch him, and she can barely keep her hand on him too.
It. So, and he's going to say it, isn't he? He's going to tell her. So she's going to be in Slough House. Yeah, you're right. She's going to end up in Slough House. But again, I told you there was more to the fucking first desk. Fuck me. Right, yeah, get rid of her, kill her. Oh, no, we can't do that. I'm like, I told you he was a bit of a fucking sly bastard. More of the Gaius Baltar coming out there. It was like, fuck it, I don't care.
That's the other thing, too, is I think Geeta's going to wind up in Slough House.
Yes, possibly.
Because what was it? It's either you've done something wrong or you've pissed someone off. I think if Gaius, I'm going to call him Gaius Baltar. It's really annoying. If Gaius Baltar goes, the woman that they got in to replace Standish will go back to the park because he's gone. Because she spotted the fact that he liked Ladies of the Night.
I know he's in the next book.
Oh, well, then
I can say. Okay. That's not really a spoiler, but and it makes sense. We need him around for another season. He hasn't earned his demise yet.
Yeah. I did prefer that. I can't remember the name of the lady, the actress, or the character's name who was first desk in the season up until last. She was good. It's like we talk about strong women. Yeah, strong women aren't people who punch people. They're people who can negotiate things politically and get their will put across without having to use violence because they're clever and strong in that sense. And her and Taverner were great foils for each other, and she felt like a proper villain. And I enjoyed.
Demise.
She did.
Yet. Taverner hasn't done the dirty yet, and she was almost in cahoots with him, towards the end of this. I mean, he will get a demise. She's going to end up first desk at some point. They're just going to make it a trip, a bit of a journey for her. But she won't be able to shut down Slough House. She'll get to become first desk, but she won't get to shut down Slough House. There'll be some twist, and I don't know what the twist is, but I'm telling you, there will be.
The fact that Lamb's a better spy than all of them.
But Lamb hasn't had his moment yet. Not really. So Lamb's got to have a moment. There's a lot that's going to happen in this episode.
It's with David Cartwright. He's going to have his moment with David Cartwright. That's where it's going to come. Between him and Hugo Weaving. Fuck, I can't remember that bad guy's name. But it's Hugo Weaving. Between the three of them, that's when he's going to have his moment. So, yeah. Question is whether David Cartwright survives to the next season.
I think he's gone doolally. I think he will die. I think he will. Which is a shame.
And then do you think he's going to get replaced with the mother being the character that River goes to?
Possibly. She's a spy. She's going to have to be. She's going to have to be a spy of some description or another. She's going to have
She works for... Ironically, she works for MI6.
I don't know.
Not 5.
There's going to be something for it, but she's going to turn out to be a spy. And I reckon you're right. Hugo Weaving's his daddy. I think you're right. Which makes it... he's going to have to die. And it's probably River that's going to end up killing him.
Yeah.
Which, it's just like... That's just fucked up. But, yeah. But I really enjoyed the episode. It was quite a fast-paced action episode, and it worked. It totally worked all the way through. All the people had a moment.
Did you feel? I can't remember. What's the name? I call it Davros, the one who runs the archive. I thought that was really fucking mean.
Yes, but it was meant to be.
They're
making him a mean character, but he left her alive.
Well, no, because I think it's how can I put it? It's like a karmic thing, where she's been horrible to all these people. That's kind of a karmic payback for it. But at the same time, she hasn't killed anyone, and she hasn't put violence upon anyone, so she managed to get away.
But she was begrudgingly respectful of what's his face? Lamb. She was.
Yeah.
Because she's old school, and she's been thrown down there because she's old school. And you get that from the previous season, but again, I mean, I love the moment between I've forgotten his name, computer guy, Ho, and the psycho guy, where he's like, "Your girlfriend, it's a bot."
Yeah, he goes, "We used to make them."
That
We
made
used to
me
make
laugh.
them. And only a small percentage of the population fall for it. I would love the way he goes, only a small percentage of the population fall for it.
And the realization as it dawns on his face. I mean, he's a good actor, that the guy that plays Hoy. But the realization is it dawns over his face, and it's like, "You stop! Go away!"
I've got a feeling that Matey's going to do something significant right at the end.
Of course,
do you know?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is though. It should be a surprise. I enjoyed it. I can't wait for the next episode. I can't believe it's the last episode next. Is it the next one's the last one?
Yeah, but we'll get a trailer for the next season.
Hopefully,
we'll get a
yeah.
trailer for the next season. Yeah, I know it sucks that it's coming to an end so soon, but it was good. It's been good. It's been quite. The last episode was good. I really enjoyed episode 5. It was yeah, but a lot's got to happen in episode 6. So yes. Alrighty then.
So, Interstellar. I watched Interstellar, and I'll be honest with you, it kind of I stand by what I said. Interstellar versus Inception as the two kind of original movies that Nolan did, not based on either something historic or a book or comic book or whatever. It's a lot sadder watching it. I watched it on my own. I was like, oh, this is quite. I was like, this is actually really fucking sad in places. And what's his mush? The actor may not be it. What's the guy? He was in The Martian. And he was in this. Matt Damon. Bloody hell. I had to go back to Matt Damon. Arsehole. Fucking top tier arsehole in this. Drove me right up the wall.
Yeah, but that was quite clever. I mean, the fact that they cast him as that, and you don't see it coming. I mean, this wasn't. It's important that whilst Inception was a Nolan idea, this wasn't entirely his idea. It came from Kip. What's his face? Kip something, physicist, famous one. Him and his wife came up with the idea. And then, I mean, Spielberg was originally going to make this.
Was he?
But it was Nolan that then took it on with Jonathan Nolan, who then sort of turned it into a very Nolan-esque film.
Yeah. So let's start right at the beginning. Yeah. The setup. It's that they've got. I think they've got people talking about when the American Dust Bowl event genuinely happened.
Real. That's real, except the very first one, which is the older actress playing Murph.
Yeah.
So one of those clips is acted, the rest are real. Yes,
yeah.
About the Dust
and they're talking about the American Dust Bowl when they had so they talk about environmental disasters, and this one just seems to go under the radar. So when the whole this is the Great Depression etc. era, where farmland just turned to dust and they were getting dust storms left, right, and centre because they buggered up part of the fucking ecosystem by killing off 2 sets of species, which then fucked them over later on down the line. So to start off with that, and it's dusty and this, that, and the other, and you kind of go into a world where you've got this blight thing which doesn't breathe oxygen but nitrogen, is just eating all the plants, and because of that it's causing havoc with the planet's food supply, which is okay. That's not happy. That's very apocalyptic, shall we say.
Well, that's the whole reason that they're trying to escape.
Yeah.
But I mean that scene right at the beginning where they're chasing down the drone and the music. I mean, I love the music to Interstellar. It is some of his best.
Yes. Timothy Chalamet played the brother in those
Yes.
those ages, which was quite good. I didn't notice that one. Because I didn't notice because I remember the older actor. Yeah, that's the music is fantastic. It's feels very almost religious. Pipe organ music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen my friends
the
play it on an
The
organ.
other thing I really liked, and I think Nolan might have been pointing at something there that's happening, was when they say that NASA didn't land on the moon.
No, the teacher said it, right? The teacher said it, but
Yeah.
he was like, "What the fuck?" You know.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is, that is happening. No, that was Nolan having a go at these stupid people. The teacher really irritates me, right? But again, I like it because he comes out and he goes to Murph, "I got you suspended," because you know he's had a right go at her.
Yeah.
And they don't show it, which I like. I like that bit where, you can see him getting more and more wound up by this bullshit, right? And this stupid crap. And the teacher was an arrogant cow. I mean, she really was. And she's typical of a Hollywood at the moment. That is how Hollywood acts. That right there, that character is Hollywood. Right? And I can't help thinking that Nolan did that on purpose. But I like how he comes out and sits in the car and goes to Murphy, "Yeah, I got you suspended."
I liked what he said, whatever he said before then, where he turns around and goes, "She's really into baseball at the moment. I'm going to take her to the baseball game, going to buy her a hot dog and some popcorn and this, that, and the other. And she's really going to enjoy herself." Like, fuck you and what you think. I liked that, the dad, because the dad, it's. I heard that Interstellar is is Chris Nolan's commentary on the removal of actual film from filmmaking.
Yeah, 'cause he shot the whole thing on 35mm.
Yeah,
which you can tell.
That's his kind of commentary on that, and kind of his frustration and stuff with that kind of changeover that we're moving to digital and this, that, and the other, and like kind of the fact that you can manipulate things digitally, but when you've got it on like celluloid or whatever you call it, it's there forever pretty much. You just need to find good prints on it. I liked that, and whether there's a bootstrap paradox. The whole film is the first thing. It's the bootstrap paradox, and yeah, it was. I as I said, it was. I prefer Inception. If you ask me to watch Inception or Interstellar, I'd probably watch Inception because it gets to the end and I'm happy at the end. Of this, it gets to the end and I'm a bit wistful at the end. It makes me feel, gives me a sense of existential crisis, which Inception didn't.
I would argue that it's a film with sad moments, but it is not a sad ending. She frees him. She frees him from the guilt that he feels, right? And in those last two shots, you see him releasing that. You see that look where he's looking out in the uniform with hope in his heart, going out to find her. And there's a release of the guilt that he's carried with him throughout the entire movie. And I would argue that that's not sad. I'd say that's hopeful. And then her standing there, you could argue she's looking sad. But again, you could also argue he's going to find her, and he will find her. And then she'll have someone. And I see the ending as hopeful. And that's why the music goes up an octave. Because again, the music's quite clever. If you watch that, at the end,
That doesn't mean it's not, Keith. Doesn't mean it's not sad.
Oh no, it's a movie with sad moments. But I don't.
No. The movie is sad. Full stop. All the way through. It is sad all the way through. Yeah. So, for example, is it Miller's World, the one with mountains, where it plays that fucking great bit? Yeah. If you look very closely as they land, you can see Miller's body in the background.
Yes.
Which they miss. Yeah.
Yes.
And then every tick. Yeah, I think every tick is a day. So when you hear that music, every tick that you hear on that is a day passing to indicate that the time that's gone through, or maybe it's a month. I can't remember what the scale was. And then he gets back and he sees the video messages. Yeah, and it's his son. Yeah, I know they do this whole thing about he didn't really give a shit about his son. Yeah, the reason he didn't give a shit about his son is because his son gave a shit about him. Yeah, and he goes through the video messages, and gets the, met a girl, get married, granddad's dead, here's my new son died, yeah, and then he gets to like year 20 and it's like kind of, my wife says, I don't think you're around anymore and these messages are going nowhere, I need to let you go. That is fucking heartbreaking.
I'm not saying that it's not sad. There are sad moments, but actually the last half an hour of the film is not sad. So, when he gets
the whole film is sad though, Keith. It really is.
Film. Not the whole film.
The whole film until you get to maybe I'll give you the last 10 minutes.
Half an hour, because it's a half
10
an hour when
minutes.
no, it's more than that. When he's fired into the construct, right, and she
oh my
begins to
God, that
realise-
is even sadder. He's trying to rewrite history and he's not allowed to.
No,
He's
but then you
desperately
realise he
trying to.
can.
He's yelling at her, "Stay!" through the bookcase.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, he's tapping it out in Morse
But then
code.
she realises he never abandoned her, and the whole thing changes. The whole meaning of the movie changes. The music changes. Everything changes. In the moment that she realises that her ghost was her father, and her father did not abandon her, right? And then her father, along with Tars, literally saves the motherfucking human race, right? Everything changes. Then he meets the daughter. The one thing he's still carrying as he gets on the ship is the guilt. He meets Murph. Murph releases him, and then you have that hopeful ending. That's why I like this film so much, because the last half an hour reverses it. Yes, it's a sad movie up until that point. Then it's not. Then it has meaning. Then it has... The journey is worth it.
No, I'm not.
The
Keith,
journey is worth it.
I'm not saying that, but that you cannot detract from all the other sad things that happened.
Yes.
You talk about Man, yeah, played by Matt Damon. On, yeah, poor fucker landed on that planet and went, "Oh, I'm fucked," and went to sleep, rigged the thing up to everything because of the sadness. Miller's World again. You had what's the character's name? Anne Hathaway's character. Brand, yeah? Yeah, she wanted to go and find her love interest. She found her love interest. Her love interest was dead.
I'm not saying I agree.
It's a string. It's 2 hours of sadness and 20 minutes of hope, which is not the same as joy.
It's not all sadness. It's not a joyful movie, but
I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm just saying
why you like Inception
need some
more.
happiness.
I get it, but this is my favourite Nolan movie, and because I like how it ends. I like the fact that it finishes on. So how it finishes. Is it sad? Yes, but you have to go on a journey. Good movie takes you on a journey. This is a pretty fucking deep one, right? And it's pretty fucking sad in places, but it pays off.
I don't think it pays off the way you think it pays off.
I do.
I think you might be misjudging it on an emotional level there slightly.
No, I think he gets released at the end because she releases him. That's why her commentary is over switching between the two of them, and as he escapes and the way he escapes and the fact that Tars goes with him, I'm getting what's going on. She's releasing him, and he releases that guilt, and that final stare where he smiles is hope. No, it's not. It's not a depressing movie. I disagree with you. It's not. It's down and trodden, but a lot of good sci-fi. Fucking hell. I'll tell you what is a depressing movie. 2001. That's a much more depressing movie than this, and it's celebrated more than this.
2001.
Really,
that's the other thing. It is so fucking 2001, especially the Tesseract bit at the end.
I'll give you that. But
Nolan goes, I could do 2001. Watch me. That's what that is. I did not like I know that whatever entity or whatever it was grabbed him before he fell into the black hole. Yeah. Because he couldn't have gone into the black hole because he would have fucking died. Yeah. There's no this way, this or that. but there was no. It didn't. In 2001, it was obvious when he touches the monolith, and then he goes on fucking spacey journey. Which, if you've ever taken anything, might take you on a actual journey. But coming back to it, it's trying to think of when. No, I'm suffering from when it was happy. Michael Caine's death. Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Caine's death. Fuck me, that was fucking heart wrenching. Yeah, and then she finds out that she's been lied to, and then she tells Brand that she's been lied to, and Cooper gets to hear it at the same time too. Poor matey who waited on the thingy for 20 fucking years.
Deciding to leave triggers Man. Man goes off on a fucking crazy loop. Then you have that amazing scene as they try and dock with the ship that's spinning out of control, which is again the music and everything to it. It just has fantastic music. The music makes it. I don't think I'd enjoy it as much if it wasn't the music, because again, it's another example of him using music as a character. And the music does make it depressing at times. I'm not gonna I'll lie with that, and there are moments. But I at the end of it, I feel the release, especially today. I watched it all the way through without stopping. Today I had it on. I watched it 4K, and I focused on it today. I was like, I'm not going to do anything or distract. I'm just going to watch this film, and it's bloody sad. I'm not going to lie. It is bloody sad in moments. But at the end of it, the human race has been saved, and she saved them, and her father didn't abandon her. And she has a release. The bit where she throws the paper out, Eureka, and she's happy, and she kisses the guy who was blatantly in love with her, right? And she has kids. She has a happy life, despite everything that happened, and that's all there, all in that speech at the end. The speech is what makes it. If you did not have that, granted, it would have been like, oh, that's there. You have to have that at the end. You have to have that at the end. If you didn't, the whole movie would be sad. There would be cool moments and the music would still be, but it's that final 30 minutes that makes that film.
The other thing too is I really like the robots. I've got a thing. I really love the robots in this, and it's like, dude, they are giant. They're literally giant fucking Lego bricks, sentient Lego bricks. As a robot, they're crap robots, but I fucking loved them. They gave them personality. They had more personality than most fucking Marvel films have.
You should read. There's a whole thing on the Blu-ray, and I haven't got the Blu-ray. I want to go and watch the features again, because the Endurance is a miniature, but it's not a fucking miniature because it's like 14 meters wide. Actually built. I mean, it's a huge model, the Endurance. Look, I like the ending. The ending makes the movie for me, and it's a good sci-fi movie. It's not a happy.
Oh, I'm not saying. Okay, I'm not saying it is, but I'm just saying it's on balance.
I'm not going to argue with you and say you're wrong, I'm right, because I can. It's a personal thing, right? And we're going to like movies for different reasons, and we're going to dislike movies for different reasons. I don't find it a depressing movie, but I can understand why people might, and I understand why you prefer Inception, because arguably it's a happier movie. It's lighter, although it does have the whole wife story, which is pretty fucking depressing. But it is a happier movie than this. But I don't know. I think the music, the timey-wimey stuff, if you take the emotion out of it, I think...
Right, hang on a second. Before you go any further, they did the fucking Event Horizon thing that they always do with wormholes.
What do you mean?
The piece of paper where they fold it over and poke a pencil through it.
It's a great explanation to normies, and it's true. That is exactly what they are actually doing. And that's the way you explain wormholes. You get the piece of paper, you fold it over. Although there are two theories behind wormholes, right?
The piece of paper, yeah, it's us, but represented in 2 dimensions because we're 3-dimensional creatures. Well, actually, technically, we're 4-dimensional creatures. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you shift us into a higher dimension, making us 3D. This is me, and then you can then do the thing from the higher dimension.
They explain why it's a sphere, right? Now, most sciences agree that a wormhole would be a sphere, right? Not your Star Trek fucking Deep Space Nine big funnel in space kind of thing, right?
That looked cool though.
It did look cool. But also, most people, like, there's 2 forms. You see, they actually are in the wormhole in this, and most of the time that I've seen other scientific explanations is that you're never in the wormhole. You are literally passing through such a thing. Your nose is going to be out the other end of the damn hole before you're even in it if you're sitting at the back of the ship, right? So you're not actually transversing through a tunnel, right? Although the whatever they are, the physicists that they based the science of this wormhole on says you do. But the other science that I've heard is you don't actually pass through it. You're never in it, right? Like the event horizons on both ends are like
immediate
0. Yeah. And again, if you had a wormhole at one planet and then a wormhole at another planet, you've also got to match the speed of the planet, the system that you're going into, and not the velocity that you think. Because whatever velocity you go in, right, and whatever direction you go in, you're going to come out the other way. So you're not going to come out, if you go into the thing, you're not going to come out arse first. You're going to come out forward, right? But the velocity is going to be the same. And velocities, well, you know all this shit because you're fucking clever. But you know what I'm talking about. Okay. I liked that they did a proper representation of a wormhole.
I always thought wormholes were supposed to be. Sounds odd, and I got this. I think it's a mixture of Mikukeu and the fucking guy I can't stand. What's his name? He thinks he's so smart, fucking explaining really fucking simple things. Does my tits in. Oh, I prefer to have Brian May explain it to me, and he's had a stroke. Anyway, wormholes should be hot. Yeah, because there would be friction between one opening to another opening. So there would be some kind of that, there would be an effect of sorts. Yeah, so the way gravity dilates time and slows time down because of the fact that the Big Bang's explosion's moving at the speed of light, and if you come off of moving at the speed of light, it would then affect it.
I believe that we've done enough theory behind creating wormholes. The reason that we currently can't create wormholes is we can't generate enough negative energy to keep the damn things open. But that we have the theory behind creating wormholes.
Einstein-Rosenberg bridge.
That's one theory. There's another one though pushing around.
There's the Mikukeu time dilation one. Oh no, that's time travel. Sorry, I'm thinking. Sorry, that's how to build a time machine using a wormhole.
There's another one lying around, which again, but I get why I am not going to stand here and disagree with you about it. It's my favourite Nolan movie because I think it's technically Nolan at his best. His timey-wimey and his use of timey-wimey shit is not overused, and it's actually used properly to create a really good movie. His use of music is fucking perfect in this film. His characterization, which is often criticized for, again, is perfectly used in this film, although you could argue the same of Inception. If we're going to argue about what his best movie is, it's going to be between Inception and this. There are no other. I mean, I love the Batman movies and I love Batman Begins, but objectively, it's not his best film. Inception, in terms of writing, is his best film, but he didn't fully write Interstellar. It was based upon an idea that was being shopped around at the time. But what he did was create a masterful. It is a masterclass in filmmaking in one respect.
Yeah, I looks pretty. Everybody loves that mountain scene. Everybody loves that cornfield chase music and scene. Everyone knows that when you've got can start to recite the poem that bloody Michael Caine's doing from the Welsh poet. Can't remember the fucking Welsh poet's name. But it's, what do you call it? It's good. I'm not saying it's not a good film. Just saying the reason I prefer Inception is because it was happier. It was. I felt
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I will not disagree with you on that. I will. Yeah. I can't disagree with that. You're right. I like this movie more, but I understand why some people don't. I get it. I do, but I like the ending to it. I don't know. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you, but I got it more today, even.
I'll be honest with you. I watched it today. I found it the saddest I've ever found watching that film. I've seen it in the cinema. I've seen it several times before, and it just came across to me as really, really sad.
I can get that. I mean, to make you more happy, Nolan did an interview, I think it was this week or last week. And they, of course, asked him what you're working on. And we know he's working on something, right? But he smiled, apparently, and hinted at something he's always wanted to do. He had a meeting with Barbara Broccoli not that long ago. He was seen having a meeting with Barbara Broccoli not that long ago. Do you think
that's going to be
$1 billion Bond film? If it's true, it's $1 billion film.
Oh,
but Cillian Murphy, Nolan, listen to me. Cillian Murphy cast as your bad guy, right? You cast him as your bad guy. You get Tom Hardy in to play Bond. $1 billion Bond movie, right there. $1 billion. People will go and see it. I mean, it could be the worst Bond film ever, but those names on a poster, stick them in the trailer. Bond. Every motherfucker's going to watch that Bond film, right?
I feel sorry for the person who's direct the next one.
Right. That's the only reason I could see Barbara Broccoli not going it, because they like to make a few Bond films. But you know, they've had different directors for different Bond films. The trouble is Nolan. But again, Inception is his goddamn, you know, it's his sort of like portfolio. It's his like, look, I can make a Bond film, because that whole bloody scene in the ice mountain is a Bond movie.
Oh, that, and then you've got the beginning of The Dark Knight Rises with the plane. That's a fucking Bond intro there. You could literally, as that plane flies off, you could go dun dun dun.
Yeah, and he comes down with the Union Jack fucking thing. We need a bit more of that. Even though I know, you know, even if it's a little Union Jack, we need a Union Jack there. But you got to have Hardy. The more I think about this, the more I think Tom Hardy should be the next James Bond. Fuck anybody that says, oh, it needs to be a woman, or it needs to be a black guy. Fuck off. And I'm telling you, if they do that, if it is Nolan directing with Hardy as a Bond, it will make $1 billion, or I will eat my hat. I'll eat your hat, your red one, right there. I'll eat it.
I've got two of them, so there's one going spare. You still owe me 2 t-shirts.
I'm telling you, if in this scenario, if Nolan ends up directing and it's Hardy, and there isn't all woke nonsense around it, because there probably won't be if it's Nolan directing it, $1 billion Bond movie. It will make $1 billion. And you know it. So I won't have to eat your hat.
Yeah,
I think it could be. I mean, he says he's writing, and we haven't had anything about Bond. I reckon it could be. And it would, what a twist.
Christian Bale is James Bond, though.
It wouldn't work. It's Hardy's Bond. Hardy's Bond. No, he's got that suaveness. Bale hasn't got that. But Bale is not suave, right? Hardy is suave.
Right, so this is the thing that people forget, yeah? First things first, James Bond's not a spy. James Bond's an agent. M is the spy who deploys the agent, yeah? Okay? Yeah. And James Bond is a psychopath that you point at the bad guys and make them go away.
Which Hardy
So he pretends to be a gentleman, but underneath he murders people without any refrain or forget.
Hardy can do that because he's got the accent, and he's also got the rage.
Christian Bale will be the first Welsh Welsh James Bond.
Bale hasn't got that rage.
We've had a Scot, we've had an English person, we have an Irish person. Wales needs to be represented there.
I want it to be Hardy.
Come on, Haverfordwest.
Shut up, right? You're not Welsh. You're not even Northern. You support.
I'm not saying I was Welsh. I was just sticking up for the Welsh. No one sticks up for the Welsh. They're like the weird kid at school that smells of cheese.
I'm not going to say it. You're trying to lead me into saying something, and I'm not going to make any Welsh jokes. I'm just not. Man,
it's like some weird, freaky island near Wales. 3 legs? Why 3?
No, it can't be Christian Bale. Hardy would be the better one. You cast Cillian Murphy as the bad guy because he can play a psycho, and he could be a good,
Depends what kind of bad guy that you want for James Bond. Yeah, because there's several types of bad guy that you can have for James Bond. He's like Batman. Yeah, you can have an utter psycho like the Joker. Yeah, psychopath like the Joker. You can have the evil mastermind like Ra's al Ghul. You could have a physical threat like Bane was. So it depends what route you're going to go down with, what threat you're going to present to him. Personally, I try to go for all 3.
No, yeah, you could be right. I just think Cillian Murphy could be quite a good Bond baddie.
I think he. I don't want to sound rude. I think he's just a bit too old.
What, Cillian Murphy?
Yeah, I think he's just a bit too old. I think Hardy. Let me check how old Tom Hardy is.
Oh, Hardy could be a Bond.
He's 47.
Yeah, he can be Bond. He can do Bond for the next 10 years. And even if he's in just one Bond movie, $1 billion Bond movie. It needs to... You see, the thing is, right, I know that if Hardy was it, he would own that role. You're never going to hear Tom Hardy bitching about it after every movie, right, like Craig did. Craig was the biggest misstep of casting ever because he just moaned about
Henry
it.
Henry Cavill is 41. He's the perfect age. Cillian Murphy is 48. And Tom Hardy's 47.
If they announced Henry Cavill as Bond, I'd be all right with that.
Yeah, I would be too.
But I just think
do you know what the funny thing is?
More interesting.
If they did announce Henry Cavill as James Bond, because he would be a great brand ambassador. No two ways about that. As long as they're stuck to the thing. What do you call it? I would expect Guy Ritchie to direct it. I don't know why in my head. This Henry Cavill and Guy Ritchie's directing. So if we hit that in future, I fucking called it now.
There's a pharmacy that I used to go to there. I like it too. But
why would you go to fucking Haverfordwest Pharmacy to get something?
No, when I was working 20 years ago. But they were on my patch. I went there a few times. Nice people then. I don't know anymore, but it was one of my favourite ones. Because they always made nice tea and put honey in it. It was nice. And I could stay nearby, and it was a nice pub. Did a really good beef stew. Anyway, I'm reminiscing. I don't know what Nolan's next film is, but I'm kind of half hoping now that it is a Bond film. So next week, it's we've got 3 films left. It's Dunkirk, Tenet.
Yeah.
And then it's
Dunkirk. I need to take some because it's like a fucking anxiety attack. Dunkirk. It's done right, but it is like an anxiety. When it kicks off, that's it. It doesn't stop.
Nope. Nope, it does not. But there's 3 films left. Then we're going to have to announce something. But so yeah, maybe get drunk before you watch that one.
Dude, I need to probably take something to calm me the fuck down after. Christian Bale can't do it either. He's too old. He's
I
50.
don't think he would be a good Bond. My vote is look. I'd be happy if it was Henry Cavill. I still think it would be interesting with Tom Hardy.
Mm.
And my vote is Cillian Murphy as the bad guy, because I think he could be quite a good bad Bond guy.
Gary Oldman is a bad guy.
That could work as well. That could work as
Daniel...
well, but
yeah.
But it depends on what they're going to do. If they're going to recast everybody, or because if it's Nolan coming in, he'll probably want to recast everybody. Which I think is a good idea. I think they need to recast and step away from what the Craig universe and create.
I think the Q character don't work.
Yeah,
I get it, but the way they've put it together doesn't work. If that makes any sense, he's more hacker than gadgets.
Yeah,
but hey
but in this modern age, you could argue that. But yeah, and you've got to have some gadgets back in it, and you've got to have some nice cars back in it. You've got to stop worrying about these fucking woke morons. You don't have to have him shagging everything left, right, and centre, but you have to have some pretty girls in it. You do. They can be doing stuff. I mean, look at what's her face in the last. The one good thing was what's her face and what's her name?
Anna de Armas, or her name was, I think.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. She kicked ass in that movie, and she's gorgeous, so it worked. She's drop dead gorgeous. But it worked. It worked. So yes, but I my vote is on a Chris Nolan Bond film. There you go.
Yeah, I would have a Chris Nolan Bond film. Next best choice would probably be Matthew Vaughn, and then Guy Ritchie. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, but Guy Ritchie's busy at the moment. Very busy.
Guy Ritchie would be. It would be James Bond, but he'd be working class James Bond, not posh James Bond.
Yeah, and that doesn't work for James Bond, unfortunately.
I know it doesn't work for James Bond, but it would be fun trying to find out what it looked like.
It would be. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I recently watched I watched The Ministry of What's Its Face.
Ungentlemanly Conduct.
Yeah, I love that film. The more I watched it, the more I like it.
As I said, my favourite bit is where they get caught by the destroyer and the captain knows that he's bullshitting, and he turns around and goes, I want you to say it, tell it to my Swedish colleague here. Not you. I want Captain whatever his name is, because he knows him. He goes to say it in Swedish like that. And he's like, kind of, all right, you got me. Just love that. High seas, he bumps into someone he fucking knows.
It's a great film, but you know, that film that has a woman in a very heroic part. Apparently Guy Ritchie doesn't cast women in heroic parts. The Gentleman.
The film, The Gentleman.
Both.
And then the TV series.
No, the film's the TV series is better. There are moments in the film that's good, but I appreciate the TV series. Right, mate, we should put a bow on this because we've been going for 2 hours.
Yeah, it's been good. That's good 2 hours for us. I'm not sure about our viewers.
We had some good arguments. And
yes.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Right. See you next week.
See you next week. Wave at the camera, Keith.
Blankety blank.